Here now, Tammy Bruce, columnist at The Washington Times, and Karl Rove, former deputy chief of staff under President George W. Bush. Both are Fox News contributors. Welcome and good evening to both of you. We all know that politics can get pretty nasty, but it appears that Mr. Blankenship, Karl, has decided that this is a good plan. This is a good strategy for him.
Yeah, well, I hope he's proved wrong because, look, the people of West Virginia are sensible, solid, down-to-earth Americans. And for a guy to go out there, think about this. This guy went to jail because he ran a company where he was in charge that deliberately flouted federal safety laws regarding mines, and 29 miners died on his watch at his responsibility. He doesn't even live in West Virginia, lives in Las Vegas, can't even vote for himself Tuesday. And now he is going out there in a desperate attempt to win. He has got these outrageous charges that Mitch is his wife is a Chinaman and the tens of millions of dollars and so forth. This guy doesn't even understand the political reality of the world. The Chow family is originally from Taiwan, which broke away from communist China in 1949, and they're American citizens and live in the United States and create jobs in America. So let's be clear. He is a bigot. He's a moron. If he wins the Republican nomination, kiss our chances goodbye of winning West Virginia.
Tammy.
Well, look, I think that it's extraordinary. I'm no fan of Mitch McConnell, but this guy's making me want to defend Mitch McConnell because it is so absurd. Look, this is an extraordinary situation. He kind of represents why Americans don't trust politicians. He clearly seems to be trying to bolster his own reputation back or to blame the system or something. But here's what you've got. You've got a man who's running on racism and bigotry, no ideas, no policy ideas, character assassination. Maybe he's running, he should be running as a Democrat at this point. I mean, he's attaching himself to Donald Trump. Donald Trump and certainly Donald Trump Jr. has rejected him, saying, don't vote for this guy. The president in April had an event where the two other Republicans running were there and supported him, and he supported both of them. But this is about the voters of West Virginia, the Republicans. It is an insult in the way that he's approaching them. We have so much to do. And to allow this kind of, it's almost like a parody, that ad. And it's heartbreaking because we've got so much to do. And this is a guy who I think is not just trying to smear Mitch McConnell, but trying, I think, to smear the entire conservative movement in the process.
It's interesting, that ad, which you say almost looks like a parody. It looks like, sort of an Onion ad or something, because it's almost as if they said to him, OK, these are the buzzwords that we want you to use. We want you to say China family. I mean, what a bizarre expression that is, and this is what's going to work. But when you look at this, Karl, I mean, there's this mountaintop family PAC, which associates of of Leader McConnell are involved with. They do not want him to win this because, as Mitch McConnell often says, he wants, candidates that they think can win. So they're backing Morrissey. Others are backing Evan Jenkins, who's the current congressman there. But the fear of, Republicans is that this is going to look like a Sharon Angle race, or it's going to look like what happened with Roy Moore. You obviously are very connected with the campaigns in the Republican Party, Karl. Do you think, are you nervous about what's going to happen here on Tuesday night?
Yeah, I am. 2 points. First of all, the full disclosure. This week, I've known Evan Jenkins for a while. I did a fundraiser for him in his first race for Congress, where he defeated in the most Democratic congressional district in West Virginia a 19-term incumbent. He's a doctor. He served in the state legislature as a conservative Democrat, changed parties when he was in the legislature. So I want full disclosure. I'm for him. And I contributed to him this week because I'm afraid of Blankenship winning. Jenkins, in the Fox News poll a week ago Thursday, had 25. Patrick Morrissey, the Attorney General, had 21. Blankenship had 16. But there's 38% undecided. And this week, since this poll came out of the field, Blankenship has put $1.2 million of his own money into the race. In addition, a Democratic super PAC headed by the former U.S. attorney who prosecuted him and sent him to jail has spent several $1 million attacking not Don Blankenship, but Evan Jenkins and, to a lesser extent, Patrick Morrissey, because they fear Jenkins and perhaps Morrissey, but certainly Jenkins, can beat Manchin in the fall, and they want to do everything they can to help Blankenship. And now he's spending money, too, in an effort to put himself in the lead.
And then the other issue is the split, is the other two gentlemen can split that vote, giving Blankenship this win. But this then comes down to GOP leadership, right? Why are we in this position? I mean, this is what a lot of Americans are asking. We know what we have to accomplish. There's got to be some kind of coalescing in making this not happen in this fashion. And this is why we look funny at the GOP establishment, that once again, this should be something that should be a fight by a strong Republican against Manchin, which we could win. And we're not even there. And this is why we have some questions about the GOP at this point.
Well, look, that's why I couldn't agree with you more. That's why I personally stepped up and contributed the maximum to Jenkins' campaign, because I felt he was the best candidate. But, I'm not a West Virginian, but I believe that West Virginia is a great opportunity for us. If you look at the generic ballot on the Morning Consult poll, the generic Republican is 14 points ahead. If you look at the polling on Blankenship, he's behind Manchin badly because, look, he's a crook. He went to jail. He lives in Nevada. He once himself tried to get citizenship, inquired about moving to China and become a Chinese citizen.
Let's bring that quote up, because his fiancée is of Chinese background. Her name is Farah Mei-Ling Hobbs. She was born there. In a conversation recorded in 2009, Mr. Blankenship said he might actually move to Asia. He said, I'm actually considering moving to China. I can probably get citizenship in India, but I would rather be in China.
Look, what we've got here, too, is when it comes to West Virginia, he spent a year in jail on the issue of not dealing properly.
He claims he was innocent, by the way.
Yes, a jury convicted him. This was a jury
They
conviction.
always do.
29 dead West Virginians. And this is a man who now is just, look, he's a character, but people's lives remain at stake. And there's got to be some kind of coalescing here to make sure that we are in a good position in the midterm. And this guy is a sideshow, and it's an insult to the people. All these races are local, but we all have an interest in what states like West Virginia do.
But I think Tammy's point is well taken for Republicans who listen to all this, Karl, because the other two guys on the stage the other night, Jenkins, who you're backing, and Morrissey, they just kept attacking each other. And people, after the debate, I think, they felt like Blankenship had done a pretty good job. And I guarantee you that he got another look from a lot of people after that.
Yeah, well, look, you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't, because the idea of coalescing behind a winnable Republican candidate, we saw that in Alabama, where the Republicans tried to coalesce behind the sitting U.S. senator, and that got a lot of kerfuffle because there were two other contenders, and we ended up with the one guy who could lose the race and did. And we may, in this situation, if we don't get behind the right candidate, have the one candidate who could lose. And remember, it's not just the incident where 29 human beings lost their lives because this company violated federal mine safety standards. Massey, the company that he headed, and the company that he ran into the ground had the worst mine safety record of any West Virginia coal operator when he was the CEO of it. And remember, you pointed this out during the debate. This guy dumped a bunch of coal slurry into the watershed of his neighbors after he got a line run into his house so that he could have fresh water, while those people had to go get water in jugs and cans in order to bathe and drink.
Oh. West Virginia is in, last place when it comes to the economy, first place when it comes to opioid use and deaths, and they need some very strong leadership. And they've got an election coming up on Tuesday night. We're going to be covering it live here that evening. It's going to be very interesting to watch the outcome. Tammy and Karl, great to see you both. Thank you so much for being here.